The boy stood outside the dealership, his reflection faintly visible in the spotless glass. Inside, luxury cars glimmered beneath soft lights, symbols of success he could only dream of. "Maybe today's the day," he whispered, clutching his small backpack. But as soon as he stepped in, the room fell silent. The salesman's forced smile vanished. "We're not hiring," he said sharply, assuming the boy was there to beg. "No, sir. I just wanted to look," the boy replied softly. Laughter rippled from another desk. The boy's heart tightened. They didn't see his curiosity, only his skin and simple clothes. As he was ushered out, humiliation burned in his chest. He turned once more, staring at the shining Rolls-Royce logo through the glass, and whispered to himself, "Someday, they'll know who I really am." That night, Jamal sat by the window, the city lights glimmering like promises he couldn't touch. His mother was away again, busy, always busy. He didn't blame her, she worked hard, but he wished she'd seen what happened. Maybe I should have told her, he thought, but no, she had enough to worry about. The dealership man's words replayed in his head, "You don't belong here." Jamal clenched his jaw. He'd always been taught to stay respectful, no matter how unfair life felt. But tonight, he made himself a silent vow. He wouldn't let their judgment define him. Somewhere deep inside, the spark of pride that his mother had planted years ago began to glow again. Tomorrow, things would change. He didn't know how, but life had a strange way of revealing truth to those who waited. The next morning began like any other, until the sound of an engine shattered the calm. A deep, rich hum, smooth and commanding, rolled down the street. Neighbors peeked from their windows as a sleek black Rolls-Royce Phantom glided to a stop outside Jamal's small home. The door opened, and out stepped a woman dressed in quiet power, poised, elegant, her eyes hidden behind gold-rimmed glasses. Jamal's heart skipped. The next morning began like any other, until the sound of an engine shattered the calm. A deep, rich hum, smooth and commanding, rolled down the street. Neighbors peeked from their windows as a sleek black Rolls-Royce Phantom glided to a stop outside Jamal's small home. The door opened, and out stepped a woman dressed in quiet power, poised, elegant, her eyes hidden behind gold-rimmed glasses. Jamal's heart skipped. The dealership was busier than yesterday, a blur of customers and polished smiles. Then, the Rolls-Royce pulled in, its presence commanding instant silence. Employees rushed to the door, confused but curious. The same salesman straightened his tie, not recognizing Jamal behind the tinted glass. The chauffeur opened the door, and the boy stepped out first. The salesman's smirk flickered, then vanished when the woman followed. Heads turned. She was known by face if not by name, Ava Robinson, one of the city's most powerful entrepreneurs. "Good morning," she said coolly. "Yesterday, my son came here, and was told he didn't belong." The words sliced through the room. The salesman stammered, color draining from his face. Jamal stood beside her, calm, proud, and finally seen. The manager rushed over, apologizing profusely, his words tumbling like loose change. We had no idea," Ava lifted her hand. "That's the problem," she said, voice steady. "You didn't ask. You assumed." Silence filled the room. Jamal looked up at her, pride swelling in his chest. "I came here to learn," he said softly, his voice trembling but strong. "I love cars. I just wanted to see them." A hush spread across the staff. For the first time, they saw him, not as a stranger, but as a child with dreams. Ava turned to the manager. "My son will get a full tour today," she said. "And when he's done, I'll be buying something, if you've learned your lesson." Her tone was gentle, but it carried the weight of truth. As Jamal walked through the dealership, the staff followed in quiet respect. He ran his fingers along the smooth curves of a silver ghost, his eyes bright with wonder. "This one's my favorite," he said. Ava smiled, watching her son reclaim his joy. The salesman who judged him yesterday now struggled for words. "I'm truly sorry," he murmured. Jamal looked at him and simply said, "Just, don't do it to anyone else." Those words landed heavier than any lecture. Ava nodded approvingly, then handed her card to the manager. "We'll take this one," she said calmly. "And make sure my son's name is on the paperwork too. He should learn early what it means to be respected." That evening, Jamal sat once again by his window, but this time, the purr of the Rolls-Royce echoed softly outside. He smiled, not because of the luxury, but because of the lesson. His mother had shown him that dignity wasn't something others gave you, it was something you carried. The next day, a photo went viral, a young boy standing proudly beside his mother's Rolls-Royce at the same dealership that once turned him away. But for Jamal, fame didn't matter. What mattered was that somewhere in that glass building, someone would think twice before judging again. And as the city lights flickered against the silver hood ornament, Jamal whispered to himself, someday, I'll own a dealership. And everyone will belong.